much for joining us.
Good morning, Amanda. Good morning to all those beautiful ladies. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I must say that I realized that we actually have a number of things in common. That you went to Forte University that I went to. And there's something else that I picked up. Oh, yes, an African Dua as well. Amazing stuff. We celebrate you indeed. I know that you have prepared a presentation for us today. So without wasting any time, over to you.
Good morning to every listener. Thank you very much for this invitation. It's an honor for me to be here and to be doing this presentation. Quite a powerful theme, actually, power of influence. And in all the things that I've been doing in my life, I never thought that I had influence up until such time I received this topic from you. But okay, whatever empowerment that I did, it was part of being influential to other people. So having all this being outlined and explained on what an influencer is, I won't dwell into that. I'll straight go into the power of how now do I use my influence in order to empower people, because what we are striving at here, we're striving at a community that is less joblessness, a community that will create more jobs, a community that will have less poverty in its own. So I also had this in mind, that I wanted to do something, never thought that it was going to be an influence. But I fell under all the categories that were mentioned of an influencer, including availability, resilience, resistance, and integrity. So now what I decided to do, I wanted to empower women. I wanted to empower the youth, because I was always having these women that were coming to me, being broken, needed to be fixed, but they also had nothing. They couldn't contribute anything positive to the community. So now I started a school. So with the school, I had this thing in mind that when you bring something to the community that the community doesn't have, you will be celebrated, you will be a hero, but it doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, I found myself on the other side of the community. But I had to resist, I had to stand tough, I had to fight, and then so that this becomes a reality. So I have programs that I'm using in order to empower people so that we can move to a thriving community. Because for me, a thriving community is a community that has its people who are able to create their own jobs. So I will just delve into these programs that I'm doing. I use my school, which is Mamusa Educational Institute, first in the township, so that it can be the people accessible to the people. I create jobs. There are lots of unemployed graduates. I create jobs for them. I give them jobs. I give them salaries so that they can be able to live, so that they can be able to maintain their families. Number two, I use the school to bring in dropouts. I create assistant jobs and internships for college and university dropouts. Assist them to re-register, go back to school, complete their degrees, and then there's an exit program. Once they complete their degrees, they exit in order to open space for other graduates. So far, I'm proud to say 10 of those graduates have graduated, have obtained their degrees, and they were dropouts. So it's the way in which I empower them. So at least there's more job that is being created. So one other thing also that I used to do that developmental skills. It's a center in the same area where we are in the community center, where they offer skills for different skills. All the ladies and other people that I mentor, I refer them there for skills, to advise them to be skilled so that they can be able to do things on their own rather than depending on people. Other thing that I use is my own NPO, Wemandla. With Wemandla, women come there being broken, being hurt. You cannot at any stage empower a person who is hurt, empower a person who's broken, empower a person who is hopeless. You have to be a hope yourself. When they look at you, they must see hope because of all the things that you've gone through and being able to find a footing and do something. So in the process of healing them, we also introduce empowerment so that we tell them about skills, we tell them about the departments whereby they can go and get funding for small businesses. We advise them to start small businesses. We've seen some women starting businesses. We're also more now interested in agriculture. I teach them to plant, to have their own vegetables so that they can be able to feed their families. What my aim is to see women being independent. I want to see them having their self-identity, because in all their process, the process of problems and abuse, they lose identity. So once they're independent and have identity and have streams of income, it becomes easier for them to go back into the community and participate in the economy in a positive way, so that they can be able to also to contribute something, so that we can have a thriving community. Lastly, I use my philanthropic work in order also to educate children of the beneficiaries, because with this work, I give blankets and food to all the elderly people, the widows, and the orphans. But then I use that also to help their children, their grandchildren, all their extended family members to be mentored and to be educated. So it becomes easier for them to do something. Philanthropy alone, it doesn't work. It makes people to depend more and more in receiving and relaxing rather than giving. Thank you very much. It is the award that I got from South African Heroes Award. Actually, Amanda, I'm a twice first runner. 2020, I was also the first runner for the awards.
Oh,
That one was very
yes.
fun. Yeah. So I have two
Wow.
certificates. Among all the awards that I've received, the SA Heroes Awards still gives me more platform because of the title, South
Wow.
African Heroes Awards. Even after the African Awards, I was profiled for SA Awards in a TV in Kenya, in Zambia, in Nigeria. They said, no, we have looked into your profile. Tell us about the South African Heroes Awards. Don't tell us about this that we know. So you're doing a great job. May the good Lord bless you. So I want to say to
Thank
everybody,
you.
yeah, it's cruel to dream and not to achieve. Make sure that you
Ooh,
achieve what you've dreamed of. Thank you.
wow. Thank you so much. It's cruel to dream and not to achieve. Wow, wow, wow. What a punchline right there. Thank you so much, Pastor Mamsi Mashinini Ndlalani. And I'm glad that you're saying that, the South African Heroes Awards, the achievement on that platform has opened doors for you, because that's exactly the reason why we are doing what we're doing, to make sure that, our community heroes are celebrated the world over, not just here in South Africa. And we'll talk about that, because that's the reason why we have Lydia joining us as well, all the way from Nigeria. But let me just engage you on some of the things that you've talked about. By the way, a job well done in making sure that you're empowering others. Excellent work that you're doing. And you mentioned something about funding. I want to find out, what are some of the challenges that you came across, and how did you overcome them, especially in the area of funding? Because what I've picked up is that from the heroes that we've been dealing with, whether they were winners, runners up, or just nominated, which is great on its own, the main thing that is cited as a challenge is funding. And of course, if you are struggling with funds, you won't be able to even think about putting yourself out there so that others can know about what you're doing, not in a way that you want accolades, of course, but because now we want the community to copy what these heroes are doing. When people are doing good, we want, those that are looking to say, oh, maybe also in my little corner, I can do what this one is doing. But if they have a challenge of funds, of course, they won't be able to have that impact and that influence and that visibility that Kat spoke about. So how did you overcome challenges as far as funding is concerned?
Funding is a challenge in our country. There are lots of red tape. You cannot believe that it's 8 years now that the school has been in existence. Not even a single funding has come. I haven't even gotten the subsidy from the department. But it is the dream that one has that sustains you. It is the vision that you have that sustains you to say, I want to create jobs. Let me find other ways, other means of income, so that the dream becomes a reality. It's
So
difficult.
don't give up. And Cynthia Dinalane is saying that funding is a big challenge, indeed, because a number of them, as I said, they are citing funding. And I can, relate to that, because even this platform, that we have established for our heroes to be recognized, there are still some challenges, as far as funding is concerned. But thank God that we are in our 5th year, and hopefully there are people that are watching and are listening, and will be able to say we can lend a hand, because we have amazing, amazing people that are doing great things in the different categories. Empowerment, what you are doing, what Kat is doing in America, much needed in our continent, and community development. There is so much youth empowerment. So there's a lot really that our people are doing, and they still keep going because of that dream that you mentioned, Pastor Mamsi. Thank you once again for that. And thank you so much for your words of wisdom, and also just for sharing, the practical advice that you have shared, and for empowering women and young people, and being a trailblazer as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that was Pastor Mamsi Mashinini Ndlalani. She is the founder and CEO of Mamusa Educational Institute, a first private school in the township of Duduza. So many other things. If you've just joined in and you didn't get that, you will watch later when this has been uploaded. And so I spoke earlier that we have a friend of mine from Nigeria. Her name is Lydia Eke. And I just want to share a little bit how I met Lydia before I say why she's even on this platform. So we met in America, in Florida. That's where we were. We went for a prestigious journalism fellowship, right? We're in St. Petersburg. Right. So I met her there. She is doing amazing work in Nigeria. And she is a global-oriented professional whose journalistic on-the-job practice is to help add value to lives in a unique way at Unilag 103.1 FM, where she works. And that radio station is the first university community radio station in Nigeria at the Media Center at the University of Lagos. And apart from the 3 vital roles of education, information, and entertainment, the station also trains students from other institutions and departments, especially students of mass communication department. So she does a lot indeed. And also the reason why she's here is because, as Pastor Mamsi mentioned, that she's been recognized not only in South Africa, but on the continent and globally, of course. And also we would like to start recognizing community heroes from other parts of the continent. And I know that in the person of Lydia and others that I've started speaking to, will be able to do just that and extend this to be African Heroes Awards. We'll have heroes from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Zimbabwe, from Liberia, you name it, and we'll be on a platform where we're now saying these are our African heroes. We are tired of hearing about only doom and gloom about our beautiful continent, when actually the majority of what is coming out of our continent is beautiful, beautiful stuff. So Lydia, I want to welcome you on the platform, and thank you so much for joining us. And I will be engaging with you in terms of Q&A. So I want to just first give you an opportunity to say your greetings, and then we'll get on with it. Lydia, can you hear me? All right. It looks like there's a bit of a challenge as far as Lydia is concerned, but I will try and get back to her. But as I said, that when she saw the poster, she said, look, this is something that we need to also have here in Nigeria. And I know there are a lot of people who are empowering communities in Nigeria. And if you are also joining us from Nigeria, and you happen to be someone that is doing amazing work there, please do contact me. You can check me out here on Facebook, Amanda Machaga. Send an inbox, tell us what is it that you're doing, what wonderful work are you doing there. And I'm going to try Lydia again before we move
Amanda?
on to our other speaker. Okay, Lydia, hello.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, Lydia.
Okay.
I did introduce you. You're doing an amazing work where you
Thank you. I
are
heard it.
at.
I heard it.
Yes. So just share a little bit about what your role at Unilag is, and how do you think you are influencing others through the work that you are doing there?
Okay, thank you so much, Amanda, for this opportunity, and good day, everyone, for giving us the time to talk once again about the power of influence, especially
Okay,
for
Lydia, I'm struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes,
Okay,
you
so
can go
that means I
ahead.
need to speak very closely to the mic. All right, so we're
Yeah.
looking at the power of influence. Thank you for this opportunity, Amanda. And greetings to everyone in the house looking at the power of influence. So let me begin with where I work as a news editor and also deputy news editor, or will I say the head of news for Unilag Radio. Unilag Radio is the first campus radio station in Nigeria, and it's more or less like a training institute. Yeah, it's is a radio station, a FM radio station, but we do plenty of trainings. You find that there are so many young people who come every month virtually to be with us to learn the nitty gritty of mass communication, broadcasting, of journalism. So you find you are surrounded with people who always want to learn. Sometimes they are just more or less like rookies. They know nothing, next to nothing, not just about journalism itself, but also about even the everyday way of life. And you are wondering, what's this? But the beauty of it is that you are able to mold lives. That in few years, okay, let me start with what happened just some hours ago. We were at the Lagos Business School. It's a prestigious school, an institution that trains people and is well known in Nigeria. Okay, so they came together and brought some journalists together, over 50, to train them looking at nutrition, health, sustainability of the environment, and pushing forth environmental stories. At that program, we had a Zoom meeting for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks thereabout. So we are having a physical meeting, and I show up at the meeting. Somebody comes to embrace me. I'm looking at her. I'm trying to pick, and she said, "Ah, have you forgotten my face? You were my boss at Unilag Radio." I now looked into her eyes. I said, "Oh my God, Ibidu." She's working somewhere and she's doing very well. And so she's telling me, "Oh, I remember when, oh, I was working with you and you had to put me through, you have to train me. When I see you on Facebook, on Instagram, I say, oh, this is my boss." So, such things, sometimes you forget. But by the time you meet them, you now say, "Oh my God, this is the power of influence." Okay,
Oh,
the other day
yes.
at the university, I went to Caleb University to pick up something, and here is a young lady who walks up to me and say, "Ah, ma, I know you." I'm looking at her. I said, "Are you not Lydia AK?" I said, "Yes." "So you like radio?" I said, "Oh." I said, "Yes, I was. I worked with you. I worked in the newsroom. You put me through when I came as an intern." So for me, this is the power of influence. The
I like
ability,
that. Mhm.
yes, the
Okay,
ability
Lydia.
to, yeah,
I also want to just touch on the fact that what I mentioned earlier, where we met, that
yes.
it was also the power of your influence and the kind of work that you do that
Hmm.
led to you to be selected to be part of that prestigious fellowship, right?
Yeah. And also
Yeah,
grace. Grace. God's
of
grace.
course. Of
Yes.
course, God's grace indeed. Now, Lydia, I want to talk about something that's very close to my heart. We are both in the
Okay.
media space, and I happen to be in mainstream media, and you are in mainstream media, and I also have pioneered a platform that intentionally looks for good news, right?
Yes. Yes.
Talk about the importance of intentionally sourcing good news, positive news, so that our community builders
Hmm.
can then influence our audiences in a
The
in a
right way.
powerful way.
Hmm.
Exactly, in a positive light. I'll make an example that where we went in St. Petersburg,
Yes.
those journalists were trained
Hmm.
to we were trained to intentionally look for religious stories on
Yeah.
religion, right?
Mm.
So
Yes.
do you think that we can come together as journalists and intentionally look for good news
Why
for
not?
mainstream,
Yes.
for mainstream?
Yes, yes, yes. My answer is yes. And if you ask me to summarize it, I'll say solutions journalism. It is the
Mhm.
newest kind of journalism where you don't focus on the problem. You don't focus so much. Yes, the problem is there, the challenges are there, and they're bedeviling us. But as a journalist, what are you bringing to the table to help solve that problem? Why you wait for
Mhm.
government to do its to play its part? Why you wait for organizations? You as a journalist, you as a media organization, what are you bringing to the table to help solve those problems? What are the contents you are bringing? If it's a news content, what are the contents? If it's a documentary, if it's a radio content, a television content, even the social media, what are we doing? Because you find so many negative stories, bad stories. It's as if even the journalists will not be respected anymore. But do you know, yes, with what we've learned and now, we can begin to change the narrative or the narrative
Yes.
by beginning to push forth solution stories. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, well, look, let me use food and nutrition because apart from being in the newsroom, I'm also a food journalist, okay? A food and nutrition journalist. And I talk so much about food and nutrition. I've been doing that since 2001. Now, we've seen that we have so many food and nutrition stories that are all over the place that are not as true as they seem. So can we begin to do good content, good stories that will help to solve many of the challenges we'll find in the food industry today? Let's look at the environment, pollution, the plastic pollution all over the place. So we keep talking about it, oh, pollution everywhere. But where are the contents? We should begin to do stories now that, oh, learn to reduce your plastics. If you are an organization that is dealing with plastics, can you begin to look at virgin plastics that can help so that we can have more environmental friendly atmosphere? Do you have a means of recycling your plastic? I'm just giving an example now. So you don't just talk about the problems, but now you begin to look for solutions. I give you another example. Oh, many of our girls are so wayward. They don't find it easy to be able to relate well. You know, the generational gap is affecting so many young girls. And so you see them misbehaving. Now, what are the contents we are bringing to the table to teach them, to bring values, to teach values, core values that can help reshape their psyche, help them to be able to understand, okay, so this is what because many of them don't even know what to do. So they just go on social media, whatever they see, they just take and they just swallow like that, like poison. So can we bring content both to the mainstream media, to the social media, the digital media, that will begin to change the narrative, where we'll begin to solve practical problems? I think that's where we should be going right now, Amanda.
Well said, Lydia. I like that. And when I was speaking to Kate earlier, I did say that what is put out there, something that is draws so much attention, people will tend to want to do as well. That is
Yes.
why we see that what mainstream media covers. This is not in any way bashing mainstream media, like you said. I work in mainstream media. We still have to tell people about what is happening out there. But if the focus is only on that, that's when that you start seeing people that make up stories that they've been kidnapped when they have not been kidnapped because they want to be in the
Yeah.
news. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They see a mass shooting happening at this place, they go and do the same thing because you don't know the kind of attention that people are hungry for. And so if we start putting the spotlight, yes, we need to inform people about what is happening. But if you also start putting the spotlight on the good that is happening, there are people that are going to want the good attention that comes with that. And so if
Yes.
somebody that is feeding homeless people gets the attention of the media, hey, I also want to be seen that I'm doing something, and that's something that's helping other people out there. So it's very
Yeah.
important really to make sure that as mainstream media, we are intentionally looking for good news. And I must say that it is taking uh, uh, you know uh, it's gaining traction, because there are some stories, maybe one or two towards the end of bulletins, or some segment in a program that will talk about that. And so we are on the right track. Media is on the right track. But let's also just share a little bit because we have our heroes here joining us on the South African Heroes Awards platform, here on Facebook, on the Amen Show, and also on Power to Lead. How can they access mainstream media so that they can gain coverage of the work that they're doing to build their communities?
Okay, so I'll say number one, they must be valuable. Are you valuable? What you're bringing to the table, is it valuable enough? Does it carry weight? So yes, everybody wants to be there, but you find that people don't want to waste their time on what is non-essential. So how important, how essential is what you are bringing to the table? One, how valuable it is. Is it? How many influence or how many impacts? Yes, whatever you are bringing to the table, will it influence positively? I think that should be the questions we should be asking. Will it have a positive influence on the audiences, the heterogeneous audiences that will be seeing, hearing, or reading the story? So these are the things I think we should look at and weigh. Okay. So, and then we also look at the power of creativity. Is it very original, or is it just the same thing you want to bandy, or just want to show forth or showcase the same reputations? So when you are repeating, people get easily bored. They get easily tired. They really don't want to be part of it. So what you are bringing to the table, is it very, very creative? Is it original? Are you creative? Are you original? Yeah, I know there's nothing new under the sun, but there's a way you can fine-tune what you are bringing to the table, and it will be so new and impactful. So I think those are the things we should be looking at, okay? And also you bringing this to the table, how exemplary are you? People want to see your life, like they always say, our life is a book.
Yeah.
In that community, how much have they been able to read the right vibe or the right energy, or get the right information? Let me put it that way: information, but not, oh, this one said or that did not say, but just by looking at your life. How is your life an open book for them to see before you bring your content? I think these are some of the things that are very, very important that we'll begin to look at. Let me also see what I penned down. Okay, so also you have a story to tell. People don't the days we live in, you find people love plenty of storytelling. How interesting are you, and also inspiring? How, if you are boring, or your story is boring, or your content is boring, people will not want to go so much far with you. Then number three, in your specifics, how straightforward are you when you want to present your content? Is it so voluminous and then people just get tired, or you just go straight to the point, make it as concise as possible, hitting the right nail on the head, and people are grabbing? The attention span of most people today is quite short, very, very short. Yeah, so whatever you are bringing must be able to catch my attention just at the click of this. Yeah. So it must be attention seeking, attention catching. How colorful are you going to paint it, or are you going to present it, and it will be so wonderful? I think some of these things are some of the things we should be able to. I should be able to tell those who are coming on board. All right, and then you've got to be very, very courageous and very, confident. Believe in God. That's first thing, and then believe in yourself. Oh, I can do it. If you are sagging when you stand there or you present whatever you want to give us, how are we going to take it? But a sack is meant to stand straight because it's full. So what are you full of? So when you sag, or you don't have that, when you stand or you want to give your presentations, and all these things are not there, people will not tell you, but they will just look at this, observe, and then they take their decision or make their decisions. I don't know if I've been able to make a point, Amanda.
Oh yes, definitely. You made such powerful points indeed, because someone who's in the news space, or you are running a radio show, you want your content to be compelling, to be interesting, And so if you are going to be covering somebody that has to have something that is unique, as you said, it must be creative, it must be original. Maybe it might have been done before, but how different are you doing it this time, so that you can get, the attention that you're looking for. And so if our heroes are on media platforms, they get a better chance to also be recognized by funders, because somebody might be listening to that particular talk show that you are a guest on, and then they want to come and help you. I was fortunate enough to be approached by somebody who wanted some of our heroes to be featured on a TV show. And I must say that it helps. I'm now speaking to what you said, Lydia. It helps that you will have something that is, for instance, we just celebrated Mandela Day, and it is Mandela Month here in South Africa. In fact, in South Africa, it's Mandela Month, and Mandela Day was an international Mandela Day. So they were looking for community builders that are doing something for that particular day. So obviously, you're not tailoring your work according to certain days, but does it also speak to a particular theme that you might be featured, in? Now that these two people that I recommended, they were put on a TV show called, I think it's Touching Lives, if I'm not mistaken, because of the work that they were doing for Mandela Day. So position yourself to be able to say, okay, when it's World Health Day, can you be featured? Can Lydia reach out if she's running a magazine show that talks about health issues? And then we come and say, how relevant are you? World AIDS Day, you know? Is there something in your organization that you are doing that speaks to that? If you are in the community health category, for instance, so make sure that you position yourself in such a way that you grab the attention of news seekers, and you are that newsmaker that they are looking for. And another example, we had a lady that won in the specialized care category. That she's making she's giving a voice to people that are living with disability, and trying to make sure that the stereotypes that are there are dealt with. Right. So I like what you said, Lida. Very, very important indeed. You must know who you are and be someone that sets an example. And I think that speaks to what Kat said earlier, that you must be someone of integrity. How are you impacting your community? I hope our heroes are taking notes. And I did see that someone says, yes, this is profound indeed. Because when you position yourself in such a way that your story is interesting to be profiled in the media, then you will draw the attention of funders as well. Right. Thank you so much, Lydia, for sharing that insight. Indeed, it is appreciated. And I believe that we will be working together then on what I spoke about, because we have South African heroes, we have Nigerian heroes, community builders. We need to now put Africa out
Collaborate.
there and collaborate and say, these are our African heroes. So I'm excited. Any parting shots before I move on and share a little bit about South African Heroes Awards before we go to our last speaker?
Okay, so thank you so much, Amanda. I'm so excited being here, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about the power of influence. So I'll just say influence. We need to focus more on young people. They need so many people to now teach them, show them the way. We don't have too many good models in town anymore. So we should be able to raise young people who can be able to stand the test of time, taking into cognizance all these values that we have listed, and also be able to raise another set of young people who will also, it's a matter of passing it on to the next generation, okay? And also the one of the influence on women. I felt so great or good listening to the last speaker talking about how much, you are going far in helping women find their faith. Yes, it's Africa somehow. I will not
All right, so it looks like we're losing connection there with Lydia, but she has said a mouthful indeed, and hopefully you have taken some notes, heroes, and know that you need to be unique and creative and original and be somebody that is influencing others. Of course, your work is already making that impact, it's influencing people, but now we need to put it on a bigger scale. And so I just want to share a little bit about the categories that we have in SA Heroes Awards before we get to our last speaker, Dr. Ntsiki Ngcoco. So we have youth empowerment. These are people that are making it a point that they're helping young people in whichever way they can, whether they're getting them off the streets or they are helping them in the projects that will uplift them, that will empower them. And we also have women empowerment that speaks for itself, helping women in whichever area that they need help in, be it perhaps it's women that have suffered from abuse as a result of GBV, whatever the case may be, or women because they have been marginalized in the past, they have not been given resources because of their gender. And now we're saying that we need to bring women where they belong. Really, we need to put them in the forefront, we need to empower them, we need to give them the necessary tools that they need to run businesses. And speaking of that, there is also business empowerment. These are people that are making it a point that they're helping others start and establish businesses so that they can be able to sustain themselves. We know that there is a high rate of unemployment in our country, even on the continent as well. So we cannot wait and say, okay, let's get handouts, but can you start something? So there are people who are helping others start businesses. We recognize these heroes under business empowerment. There's rural development. Rural areas have been left behind a number of times. So we're saying that no, there are people who are doing great things in rural areas, who are uplifting those communities, making it a point that they are also advanced. And there's community health. I did touch on community health earlier, projects that are making it a point that our communities get the necessary healthcare that they need. There's been some clinics that have been established by community members, people that have been winners here in the previous South African Heroes Awards. And community service, you are running a number of projects that are taking care of people in the communities. It can be a feeding scheme, it can be maybe you're clothing people in winter, giving them, those who are homeless, you're giving them blankets, a lot of things that are happening. And we have specialized care, people with special needs, it can be orphans, people living with disabilities. And so those are the categories that we have. And I want to take this time to inform our finalists that we have introduced a brand new category apart from the honorary awards that we have, that I will speak about shortly. We have introduced the Community Builder of the Year award in 2023. So what happens is that all the people that have been nominated, that our people are currently voting for, because all our nominees have been allocated voting codes, and they get voted for so that they can win in their respective categories. Now we have a group chat with all our nominees. So now you need to familiarize yourself with your fellow nominees so that you can selflessly look outside of yourself and say, I am going to pick this one as a Community Builder of the Year. You look outside of yourself. We know that you are selfless. We've seen the work that you've done. But can you now say that I have identified this person, this fellow finalist for the award of the Community Builder of the Year? I know you can do that. And so I'm excited about that. And then speaking about the honorary awards, we have the Honorary Green Award, which we introduced last year. And that one is an award that recognizes someone that is making sure that our environment is taken care of. And we also have Ubuntu Award. This is a veteran community builder over the years that has done amazing things and has produced other community builders and has gone on to produce people that are successful in life. So that's an honorary award that I'm also excited about. I've said a mouthful, and what a way to also just close our conference. And Pastor Mamsi says, this is a great show, powerful and empowering. Keep it up. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to introduce our last speaker, you know. She is dear to me. She is the founder of Power to Lead with Integrity and Foundation, a management consultant with over 30 years of experience within human resource solutions. She's a leadership and legacy coach, an entrepreneur, board director, international public speaker, #1 Amazon bestseller author. She hosts hybrid and virtual events, conference moderator, workshop and masterclass facilitator, MC and program director. She's a host of Power to Lead Show, the platform that one of the platforms we are on right now, and co-host of Amen Show, another platform we're on right now. And also, she is the overseer and the advisor of the South African Heroes Awards. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Dr. Ntsiki Ngcoco. Over to you, my Queen Mother.
Thank you so much, my princess. I have the light, even if it looks like physically I'm in the dark. This is another power of influence. You see, I want to say thank you, first of all, for what you have organized for all of us globally to be really just deliberating on the power of influence as if we don't know, we have never, talked about it before, because it advances every day. So thank you so much for inviting me to the platform, and thank you to all the wonderful speakers. I was listening, and it was such a beautiful pleasure to listen to all their presentations. We complement each other. That's another power of influence. So for me, I want to start it on this note. Influence is, on two aspects. It can be a positive or a negative influence. So when people influence each other or systems influence the communities and the people, like right now, I'm influenced negatively by the power system in the area at this particular moment. And it doesn't mean it is going to stay on like this. There is a moment I'm waiting for 8 o'clock and I break out of the darkness. I could be on the light just like you. So when there is a negative influence over people's lives, sometimes it is because of their choices. Sometimes it is because of the systems that they cannot even, control. So when we talk about this, we understand that people have choices. I'm starting with a negative influence so that we can end on a good positive note. The negative influence can influence the whole society. If one leader has no heart or integrity to lead the people, and he has the kind of charisma, people follow them, that leader can negatively impact the whole society, and people would still believe. Practical examples are some of the things we're going through right now. As you said, let's deliberate on how we influence communities. When in areas where people were supposed to be positive, in the pastoral areas, in the leadership areas, in communities, not all, hear me very well, not all, but even the governments, when the leadership and the presidents are having a negative influence over the people, then it impacts people badly and negatively. And then you will really experience that scripture, that's Proverbs 29, verse 2, when it says, when the good people, the righteous rule, people rejoice. But when the wicked leaders rule, people mourn. So you will see that
Hello, Sister Nasiki, you're muted.
All right. Where did I start getting muted? I didn't even touch the button. All right, where should I start to continue?
Go back a minute or 30 seconds ago.
Okay, let's speak on character then. Let me just quickly start it on the character. Let us speak on a character of a leader. Leaders, let me start it again from the scripture. Proverbs 29, verse 2. When the righteous rule, people rejoice. And when the wicked rule, people mourn. So that is where I started by saying influence can be positive and it can be negative. And we would also wonder, why do people follow leaders who are leading them with a wicked, fist? And yet there are leaders who can lead graciously with grace and with good hearts. But we see it right now, even in Africa. We see leaders leading people to a place where they mourn throughout, but people will still believe. There are people who have charisma in influence, even if their results are negative. So it is now in the mindset of the followers to see how they are being influenced, how they are being impacted, and what changes they need to make in their lives and their choices. We need to change and follow leaders who are going to lead us on the ways of righteousness so that everybody else in our communities can rejoice. Now, that only can be a character that can lead someone to that level. So I wanted to say influence is leadership and a great character. So I'm going to put it as a grand character. Love paired with a fully developed character must truly be grand set thing in this world so that we can all live graciously, being influenced positively. No one can acquire a far reaching influence without a fair mental balance, without great strengths from many sides. So it shows that as a human being, we lead from different facets. So they should all be balanced so that we can show this grand influence and character to lead others to the right success in life. The dominant influences in the shaping of character are hereditary and environment. So there are, characters who even in our communities influence even our youth, influence them negatively and impact them negatively to love the flourishing lifestyle, love things that are materialistic, and think that that is just a success. So our mindset should be really bringing the focus back to love, that our characters should be built on love and they should be built on character building so that it can be transformational for each and everyone to be on the personal mastery journey every day of our lives. So, the influence that we should be bringing is developing and lifting up each other, like we do on SA Heroes Awards. As we rise, we lift others up. We look at places where there are people who have never been recognized, but they are doing good things. So those are light bearers where they are. So the kind of souls indeed are really light bearers. They bring the light to their communities and support each other without funds, without rewards, or even looking for them. We identify them because they are doing goodness. So the importance of influence on this earth is for us to do goodness. So we don't need a formal introduction to feel the greatness within a man of true character. If you meet a cheerful man on the street on, cold day, hot day, you seem to feel the mercury rise several degrees in you as well, because the influence of a happy soul can impact you, and the influence of a positive mindset, someone who is, even if they're going through difficulties, they will fight through. They impact you. Imagine a smile. A smile is a great tool of influence impacting us, even if we don't understand each other's language. By just smiling back at someone, not understanding the languages, but you see the heart melting and you see the communication in the eyes. That's influence without even saying a word. And you will see people starting a song, and the song can impact all of us to be in unity. So I want to leave it there so that maybe we can have time to deliberate, and I can also just share on some other areas of, this great character. What is a great impact on a character that could be, embracing us, a topic of successful living. Character is what determines your value to the world. So I want to challenge us that our characters should be raised to that level of showing well what determines us to this great world. A grand character, to be light bearers, and the great hearted people, and the boldness of the spirit. One person can influence the globe positively. We look at Mother Teresa and we know that she impacted the world positively with a high and great influence. Thank you. Let me leave it there for now so we can have time to engage.
Thank you, Sister Nasiki. We have Amanda briefly offline, so I'm here, and I would like to invite the other ladies who, Miss Mamsi and Lydia, if they want to come back on, just please turn on your video. And so that was such a powerful segment, sister. I'm going to bring up Miss Mamsi back on to the stream. So, Sister Nasiki, that was so powerful. What would your advice be to the youth who maybe doesn't have a lot of experience recognizing good character? That is the question for you.
All right. Thank you so much. That's a great question. A youth need to have a positive mindset and to identify what is the real gold. Not everything that glitters is diamonds. So if they understand with their eyes that even the leaders who are leading, with a lifestyle that looks like glittering, it is not all that it glitters on a positive note. So youth, look up for leaders who lead with a heart and a character and care for the people. If leaders care for people and people are rejoicing around them and not begging them and not being subordinates who are bowing before they get something out of them, but anything they get from the leaders, it flows from their heart, it flows from their spirit of goodness, and it expands, and it is for the people and not for their own selfish reasons. That's where you should be looking. Look at those leaders who lead with integrity and character.
Amazing. Definitely look for leaders with integrity and character. Mamsi, do you want to add anything to what Sister Nasiki said? Would you like to add anything to that?
Good evening, my queen, African queen, Dr. Nsiki. Yeah, it's too much. That was powerful. Yeah, what I want to say is that it's very much important to be able to emulate good leaders. As I was listening to her, I said, wow, I also need to get some coaching on leadership. Yeah, since she's so profound and she knows exactly how these qualities of a leader should be. We just read about them from books, but when you look at people like her, it's only then that we can say, true, we can see such people. We know there's one like that. Because most of the time when we read about these things from the book and you don't see a person who's practicing this, it becomes just useless. So thank you very much for the character that you have, the character that you are portraying in the whole of the African ladies. So we salute you.
Thank
I
you so
love that.
much, my Queen. I'm very humbled. Thank you.
I love what Sister Momsi said, and to be able to recognize an amazing leader in Queen Dr. Nasiki, right? So I feel like in order to recognize that, we also have to do the work ourselves to recognize what it is
Mm,
that we need. Would you agree to that?
mm. Definitely.
Yeah. What would you like to add to that, Dr. Nasiki?
I would like to, just add this. In our lifestyle, let's have goal setting for success. And our goals should be set for to be great and to show this amazing leadership to our youth and women. So I'm going to just say my recommendations. Let's exchange programs on a B2B, business to business, for women facilitated by men as well. We bring in men because there are so many men who support our women programs. And I've seen over and over on LinkedIn men acknowledging the fact that women are great leaders. And I do agree with them because women led even men when they were babies. So, really, we are nurturers. So, let's nurture the power of influence to our greatest ability as women. So, also to charge men leading the trade integrations, of women in the marketplace globally. Please collaborate with us, assist us, help us to the areas where we have not been before. When we talk about women empowerment and we talk about diversity and inclusion, we are not saying we're pushing men out of their positions. All we are saying is that bring us on as you rise, lift us up, coach us as well, and bring us to the table in the boardrooms. There shouldn't be one woman in a boardroom where there are 10 men. Let there be a balance. That's the power of your influence as men who support women. And us as women, when we get to those boardrooms, let us behave. Let our characters show up as great characters that really we deserve those positions and leadership. So, women playing a critical role in the implementation of any trade, be it in Africa or globally. Don't be those queens like queen bees that are hiding information from others. Pastor Mamsu was talking about the funding. Let's share the funds, let's share resources, share information. The trade policies that are pro women in the marketplace globally, that talks to inclusion of women, should be propelled more than before now. Lastly, on the entrepreneurship platforms, let us share how you made it. We are not going to take your clients, but at least leave others well. We cannot see one woman who is in all boardrooms in South Africa, and yet there are other women who also qualify and deserve. Nurture others, train them as well, and transfer the skills. That's the power of influence. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Welcome back, Amanda. Please add to that whole powerful segment.
Thank you so much, Kat. My sincere apologies for that interruption. We are living in interesting times of just power interruption anytime, anywhere, and then you just, lose your connection. But thank you so much for holding the fort and doing an amazing job. And I know that Dr. Nsike has said some amazing things that I missed out on, unfortunately. But you know what? I'm going to go back myself and just learn as much as I can from what she said. But I did pick up from what she was saying as she closes that, it's very important for us to share information to empower others. You don't want to be the only one that's shining. You want to extend a helping hand to others so that they can also get to where you are. But Kat, I'm sure there's something that you want to just throw in or ask from what I missed out, so that I don't do an injustice to that presentation.
Absolutely. I loved how Dr. Nsiki addressed men, because men, as much as we love to empower women and we want to rise, together, it's really important with the roles that men play in the home and in the workplace. It's not about validation, right, ladies? It is about the influence and encouragement and the sponsorship to lift up the women, because most women raised these men and they will not be where they are today without these important women in their lives. So instead of forgetting about those women or only focusing on the women that are in their family, it's so important to encourage and uplift women because of like opportunities. There's a lot of pay gaps across the globe where men get paid more than women, is to provide that platform where we feel safe, we feel seen, and we have the power to influence and to make the money as well as the men. So thank you for addressing that.
Powerful point indeed, and I'm glad that it was brought on this platform as well. It's great that we do have men, in all these years that we've been doing South African Heroes Awards. But I must say that it has been a high number of women that have been participating in this, and to see men also joining and empowering women as well. As they grow with them, and we create an enabling environment for our women to be able to stand, side by side with men and not be looked down upon. So it's something that is very important. Hence, we have that women empowerment category here in the SA Heroes Awards. Thank you so much, ladies, for this. I think we have exhausted the topic, unless there is someone that wants to say something. But if not, I'm just going to give each of you just a minute or two, not two, a minute for your parting shots, and then we'll just have our announcements that we're going to have in terms of when the awards are taking place, where, and how people can be part of them. So let's start with you, Kat.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to thank you again for inviting me to the South African Heroes Award. I know the important work that you do with your team, Amanda and Dr. Nsiki and Momsi and Lydia, and also for the people joining us and the nominees. So thank you for being amazing across the globe. I am honored to be part of the movement, any positive movement that will create as women and leaders and people of influence. So thank you again. And I'm opening up the Amen Show to anybody that wants to join us, who wants to share about great news. We amplify women and we talk about culture, diversity, inclusivity, and thank you again.
Thank you, Kate. And Pastor Mamsi?
What an evening, Amanda. This I have to say, word of gratitude to you. You don't know how much of an influencer you are. So most of the time I'm where I am, most of the media coverage that I got and invitations, it was because of you. You pushed me to beyond the limit. Yeah. So I know sometimes we're doing things not being aware that you're empowering me. Really got great empowered. I'm going to Egypt now in October, the whole week from the 29th until the 10th of November. I'll be speaking there. So it's all because of you. So people got to recognize me. And may the good Lord bless you. Continue doing this. God will bless you. in a better way. Sponsors will come your way. Rain of money and other things will definitely
Amen.
follow you. Thank you for being with you now. Finally, I sometimes watch you with Dr. Ntsigi on this because most of the time I do tune in. So thank you for being here with you and having you talking to me, calling me by my name. Thank you very much. To my queen, thank you. And the lady from Nigeria, it's Lydia. Lydia, thank you very much. You spoke so well. Yo, how I wish I was young. Man, I was going to join journalism. Thank you very much. To all the ladies out there, it is possible. Nothing is impossible. You can do anything. There's greatness in you. Just do it. Just hold on. The South African Heroes Awards are the way to greatness. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well said. And over to you, Lydia. Your last words. Okay. Maybe Lydia has connection issues there. We can move on to Dr. Ntsigi. Just your last words, Dr. Ntsigi.
Thank you so much once again, Amanda. I want to thank you for this wonderful conference, and thank you with your co-host, Kate Oshman, all the way from California, up in the morning for us. This is the power of influence and collaboration. I wanted to share a Japanese proverb. And thank you so much to the speakers who spoke so well on this power of influence and also showing it. You know, we are not like Mother Crab who say to the little ones, walk this way and walk straight, and yet the way she's walking is sideways. So we should all make sure we are not walking like Mother Crab. When we say to our youth, walk this way, it should be the ways that we also walk our talk. Let me share the Japanese proverb. When the character of a man is not clear to you, look at his friends. So let our characters be clear. I look at my friends, I look at people on the platform right now in the conference, I look at friends around, and I am proud to identify with you that our characters are clear and they have a successful image to lead the youth. So let us be those who have the moral courage, always wins out in the world, and put that moral courage for the world to win through us, through our impact and influence. We are influence. Thank you, SA Heroes Awards.
Well said. Thank you so much, Queen Mother. Thank you so much, ladies, for your input this evening. It's been great. It's been wonderful. And I want to acknowledge Cynthia Dinalane online, who's been just, interacting with us, and all those that have joined us. Thank you so much, heroes. I hope all the information that has been shared here, you have noted it. You will indeed use it. In time saying, Dlamini says, good evening, Sis Amanda. I'm from the Eastern Cape, and I'm happy to meet our hero here, even though we don't know her, but we saw her several times on TV. I'm talking about Cynthia. This woman deserves the World Heroes Award. Her work is amazing. I wish I can come to Joburg just to applaud her. Mom Cynthia, I can see you here. We appreciate you as South Africa. That is wonderful. Thanks a lot for the show. Very much inspiring, encouraging, and educating. It was worth listening to. That's Priscilla Hadiferi. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Cynthia says, Amanda, thank you for coming with this kind of awards because it encourages people to do more to our country. Pick up to South African Heroes Awards. Amanda, you are our pillar. Thank you so much. It blesses my heart to see you guys engaging and saying how much this has helped you, has blessed you. And Pastor Mamsi, indeed, you are such an inspiration, and thank you for sharing how this platform can help one unlock other doors, really, and not just local doors but continental and international doors. Thank you so much. Hopefully our heroes are inspired and they will follow suit, and I've had a number of them that have been coming with their testimonies. I'm going to use this language because we are Christians here, and I'm sure all of us will understand. They've been coming with their testimonies in terms of what this platform has afforded them. So I just want to say thank you to Kat and my Queen Mother, Dr. Nzigi, for really being there for this platform, for me, for the people that are driving this, and being that force, that drives what we are doing and affording us the opportunity to host this first. It's not the first. In fact, Dr. Nzigi did one in 2021. So this is the second, and I'm grateful indeed. Umntu ngumntu ngabantu. That's an African proverb. I know Dr. Nzigi will tell Kat what it means. But yeah, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you ladies. I really appreciate you, and I'm glad that we have been afforded the opportunity to be on this scale that we are in. And I know that you have so much influence in your sphere, Kat, and you will talk about us, of course, and the work that we're doing. But I just want to say thank you so much to you, Kat, for also just telling us and reminding us that we need to stand for something as heroes. And you, Pastor Mamsi, for sharing that, in order for one to be an influencer, you have to make it a point that you are helping people create their jobs, their own jobs. They shouldn't be dependent on government or on handouts, but you should be able to stand on their own 2 feet and sustain themselves. And of course, Lydia, for sharing those wonderful nuggets in terms of what is it that our heroes need to do in order for them to be recognized by media houses and to have the visibility that they need to have on media platforms, that they need to be unique, they need to be creative and original, And though I didn't get much of what my Queen Mother said, but I love that she based it on the word of God. And also she said that we need to share information, we need to empower others, we need to be people that look out for others. And I know that our heroes are already doing that. And this is a reminder indeed that, as much as you have been reaching out to your community, now bring others that are doing the same work that you're doing and reach out to them and help them be at the level that you are. And I know that the category of community hero of the community builder of the year is going to help you do just that and say that, okay, I'm doing amazing work, but there's someone who's doing even more work than that. So thank you so much. And just a reminder that our award ceremony is taking place on the 30th of September, right here in Johannesburg at Joburg Theatre, at the Lesedi Theatre there. Tickets are going to be made available, I think, starting next week, only 350 Rand, for you to come and just celebrate our unsung heroes. We've had people coming from the Eastern Cape, so I know that you can do it. I've just forgotten the lady that sent a message that says, I'm cheering my fellow Eastern Cape lady. So it would be great to see you here in Johannesburg. People from Limpopo, from Mpumalanga, from KZN, from Western Cape. That's as far as we have reached this year. Thank you so much. We are hoping to see you in Johannesburg on the 30th of September. And African theme, of course, as usual, we're celebrating being African. And for you to follow what we are doing, we are on the platform that you might be streaming us on the South African Heroes Awards page. That's our Facebook page. Follow us there. We'll be updating you on what is to come. Also on Twitter and Instagram, it's SA_Heroes_Awards. Get as much information as possible. Continue voting for your heroes. We are still voting for them. Go on our social media pages and you will see their codes and how you can vote for them. And it's only 3 Rand per vote. And the SMSs can be sent to the line that you will see on our social media platforms, and the codes of the people that you want to support. And voting closes on the 31st of August. So there's still a lot of time to make sure that you are voting for your heroes. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, ladies, for your input. And thank you. God bless you.